Hi, my name is Jeff Sturgis from Whitetail Habitat Solutions, and I'm a whitetail strategy expert. That always relates back to my love for all things whitetail. It's what I do for a living, but at the same time, it's what I do for my passion and what I just enjoy doing for my recreational time. And I'd call it more of a way of life. I like whitetails, and with that, I like hunting the entire season. That brings us into the second rut. A lot of people don't really realize there's a second rut out there that takes place, and I'll tell you why. But the second rut is probably the most missed outstanding opportunity in the whitetail woods all season long. So I want you to look at the second rut as an opportunity. Now, as far as timing, we'll talk about that in a second. You can refer to RUTcast. It's a great way to do that. We break down the timing for you, and there's a reason for that. We'll talk about the timing and why there in a second. Don't miss out on the second rut. A lot of people really throw caution to the wind during the peak rut. They hunt a couple days, they almost feel a panic, like, boy, you've probably experienced that before. You have this panic where the days are counting down. It's going to be another year. I have to wait to hunt to have this good opportunity, and that's why we talk about the pre-rut, the rut lockdown, the peak rut, the post-rut, and then also the second rut. And I would say the second rut is, outside of the pre-rut, the peak rut, the second rut is right up there and close to even the peak rut as an opportunity for you to fill a tag and have a great hunt. The problem is by that time of the year, a lot of folks are already on to other things. They're focusing on Christmas. Thanksgiving just got finished up. It's like you're moving away from hunting whitetails because it's getting in the December time period. But man, there's just such great opportunity. Don't miss out. Great opportunity. And it gets us into number two, the timing of the second rut. And I want you to think back where we have the rut lockdown. Rut lockdown is when there's an exponential amount of does coming into estrus. That means it's really ramping up and all bucks get invited to the party. All bucks participate in the primary rut. The average does they breed is 2 to 4 does for each buck. They found that some young bucks, because they're more aggressive, they breed more does than some of the older bucks that might be more shy. So look at it as all bucks are participating, and during that rut lockdown, there's a lot of does coming in and a lot of bucks are breeding those does. And then it gets in the peak rut where you have a huge number of does coming into estrus. And what that means is that there's does being missed that just aren't bred. There's does coming into estrus, bucks are already locked down, and there's so many does coming in that time that these bucks all, again, participate. And there's a period of time there, a short period of time, where mature does just aren't bred. Then you have offspring of fawns that are queuing off their mothers, and they're coming into heat a few weeks after that primary and peak rut period, and that's when the secondary rut takes place. So you have a combination of does that weren't bred, and then you also have, just because there weren't enough bucks to go around, and then you have those younger fawns that are coming into estrus. But either way, there's does coming into estrus, and you need to make sure that you hit this period of time because it's a great time to hunt the rut. I mean, it's still the rut. You can still practice those techniques. So the timing is critical. You're fast forwarding a few weeks after a lot of those does are coming into heat, and that's why the second rut takes place. Now, this is a very short window. The primary rut, the first rut, is really a long period of time. It's probably about 3 weeks, could be even 25 days. So you add in the pre-rut, the rut lockdown, the peak rut, the post-rut. There's a lot of rut happening during that time frame. 3 weeks, 24 days, 25 days, whatever it might be. Then there's a period of cooling off of a week to 10 days, 2 weeks, where there's really not much going on. And if you imagine, and those bucks are losing 20% of their body weight or more during that time frame, so they're ready to just take a break. And so it can seem that the rut really shuts down and there's nothing going on. So it's pretty easy to see when that short window of rutting opportunity takes place, because you all of a sudden start seeing fresh rubs, scrapes pop up. It's a short window though, because there's no pre-rut buildup. Bucks are actually in recovery mode. They're laying around all day. They're hitting some food sources at night. There's not much activity. A lot of gun seasons have passed, so bucks and does in general, the deer herd, are really shell-shocked, and they're laying low in remote bedding areas, and you just don't see those long-range cruising anymore. But then the second rut happens. You're looking at a window of a week, 10 days, 2 weeks at the most, of where there's rutting activity. There's not a lot of does coming in, so you can't count on deer flying all over the place during the peak rut, but it's a high quality opportunity. It might mean longer times in a stand during that short period of time, but the wait is worth it, because at any moment you could have a big buck chasing a doe. And a lot of times those big bucks don't want to give up. You might shoot some of the longest range cruisers of the season as they're looking for those last receptive does of the rut and searching hard for them, especially when they get a little whiff of those does coming into estrus during that period of time. I really like to key on late season food sources. Imagine again, the bucks are in recovery mode. So unlike the pre-rut where there's just a short window of afternoon food source movement, that movement can be pretty strong. I see a lot of rutting activity going into the afternoon, evening, but you still have the morning. So a strong morning hunt around bedding areas, and then a strong afternoon, evening hunt on food sources. What I don't see a lot of are bucks moving a lot during the middle of the day. Again, they're in recovery mode, and I'm not saying that they're not moving at 11, 12, 1, 2 in the afternoon. But boy, they key on the morning hours, the afternoon hours, and those are great times of focus. And that brings us back to, again, looking at with that in consideration, you're looking at morning stands that relate to bedding and afternoon, evening stands that relate to food sources. Great time to hit 2 different stand locations, not one for the entire day, sitting all day. Yes, something could happen in the middle of the day, but it's not very likely. And a lot of times, if you're focusing on a great morning bedding area stand, it's hard to find that X of movement that's between everything, bedding, feeding, everything. So you're focusing on a morning stand. The closer it gets to dark, those deer are leaving your position and going towards food sources. And it's hard to get in between everything. So to maximize your time and scoring the day, you're scoring a heavy morning hunt and a heavy afternoon, evening hunt. And that means you're looking at 10 points in the morning, 10 points in the afternoon. If you look at it that way, that's how I break down things. I'm looking, okay, is this the best stand I could sit at in the morning? Is this the best stand I could sit in the afternoon? And I'm really focusing on those morning, afternoon times. And you'll find that gives you a lot of opportunity, even though it's a short window. Again, spurned on by sign, you'll see that taking place. A lot of people don't understand why those rubs and scrapes are popping up at that time of year. And that brings us to the last piece here. Some might think, the second rut is that last rutting opportunity. And in some places it is. I can think of the UP in Michigan, northern Wisconsin, northern Minnesota. Bucks are into that second rut. That's that last little fling. They've already lost a lot of body weight, and they need to recover drastically and get into survival mode. Testosterone levels start to drastically drop, and they're getting into those cold winters and harsh reality that they just need to stay alive. And so rutting behavior gets shut down significantly. Does respond the same. And so there's really not much going on for a third rut. But when you get into healthy locations, maybe some of those Midwest portions where there's a lot of ag, and then further south, not uncommon to get into an actual third rut. And again, it's that timing window. If you're looking at, if RUTcast is saying this opportunity to hunt during this time of the early December is the second rut, you can probably fast forward to around January 1st for the third rut. So think about that timing and never miss out. I had an empty tag last year. I don't get to have that often in January in Wisconsin, but I was able to hunt to the end of January with my bow. And I enjoyed taking part in the third rut and seeing that rutting activity. It was pretty cool. It's just a little flurry of activity, but it is a definite opportunity. So don't miss out on the second rut, let alone if you're in an area of deer that don't have to really get into condition. It's not just about cold. Wisconsin, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, you can get in some really cold weather. But when you have snow depth and you actually have winter kill, that's when that rutting activity shuts down significantly. And also in those northern regions, that rut window is a lot tighter because fawns born too early in the spring die, fawns born too late in the summertime die. So that rut is a lot more condensed. And that's why you can't miss the second rut. There's a second rut everywhere. And so take advantage of that. And really, when you're looking at this opportunity, RUTcast will narrow down that time frame for you. We've put a lot of effort and used data, experience, science to make those points and make those opportunities to win the rut. Because the rut, again, you've seen this often now, you just need to tap into it and learn how to hunt it. And finally, use HuntCast. Make sure you're hunting the weather, because if you're hunting hot days in early December, you're missing the boat on a day that just might be 1 or 2 days later, where you get those nice cold front days. A big front has just passed through. It's put 5 inches of snow on the ground. There were high winds. The winds have subsided a little bit. Think of that crunchy snow. It's a blue sky day. Your toes are getting a little cold in the morning. HuntCast has told you this is a great day on a Saturday. You made sure you didn't burn out that stand area on a Thursday. You go in expecting rut behavior at that time, and guess what? You see it, you have a great hunt, and once you see that second rut one time, you're going to be a believer going forward, and you can count yourself in the folks and the hunters that don't miss the most missed time of opportunity in the hunting woods every single fall. Enjoy the second rut. It's also where dreams and stories can come from, just like the primary rut. I really hope that you can take advantage of these strategies and apply it to a great and successful hunt this fall. That's why we make these. For more information, you can check out my Instagram at Whitetail Habitat Solutions. I also have my YouTube channel, Whitetail Habitat Solutions, Facebook, and also my website, whitetailhabitatsolutions.com. On my website, I have over 600 whitetail strategy articles and around 800 YouTube videos. So there's a lot of content for you to digest, and I hope you can continue to learn and continue to apply these strategies to a successful hunt each and every fall.